¿Qué pasó, güey? It's your homeboy Quetzalcoatl hitting you up with another video. Before I get started, I like to say Happy New Year. This is the first video of 2013. Let's get the year all started right. I hope you had some great holidays. Hope you spent Christmas with your family and New Year's. Hope everything was popping and went well with you. On today's edition of the Fuck Your Life Boxing Show, we're gonna talk about the Orlando Salido versus Mikey Miguel Angel Garcia fight that's going to take place January 19th of 2013. The first big notable fight of this year. I'm going to talk about each fighter, break down their attributes, and give you my prediction on how I see this fight going down. We'll start off with Mikey Miguel Angel Garcia. Mikey Garcia is 25 years old. He holds a record of 30 victories with no losses, and 26 of those victories coming by way of knockout. Unlike most Mexican fighters, Mikey Garcia possesses a lot of boxing ability. If you were to watch or are familiar with Mexican boxing, you would know that for the most part, traditional Mexican fighters are known for their heart and are known for their brawling style. While they don't possess the finesse or technique that some technical boxers possess, they do have boxing ability in the sense of how they set up their punches and the strategy that they use in that brawling style. What sets Mikey Garcia apart from most Mexican brawlers is that he does have the technical abilities that most Mexican fighters don't. He can box and brawl. As you see from his record with 26 knockouts and 30 victories, Mikey Garcia has power in his punches. Although he can break an opponent down, he has some late stoppages. So it's not just taking the opponent out early in the fight. He can put in some rounds. He can outbox his opponent and slowly break him down and then take him out of there later on. Very good boxing ability. Can brawl when he needs to. The only thing about Mikey Garcia at this point in his career, he's young. He's 25 years old. This is his first big fight. His most notable opponent at the moment has been Bernabé Concepcion, who at the most is maybe a C-level fighter. And he ended up stopping Bernabé Concepcion. It was a very good fight for Mikey Garcia. But for the most part, we still have yet to see whether Mikey Garcia is the real deal. Whether he will be an elite fighter, whether he is a potential superstar. He is a prospect, and this fight right here is going to prove whether or not, he's the real stuff. One of the things that still hasn't been answered about Mikey Garcia is his chin. We really haven't seen his chin tested. How would his chin react against a person with solid power in Orlando Salido, who has a lot of heart and is a heck of a motherfucking brawler. He's gonna bring it to Mikey Garcia, and if Mikey Garcia's chin isn't durable, we will see that in this fight. He can box and he can brawl as well. I would advise that Mikey Garcia box far more in this fight than he would brawl, because brawling is gonna fall into Salido's plans. He can take a punch, as you saw in the two Juan Manuel Lopez fights. Juan Manuel Lopez was a huge power puncher, and the punches that he threw while he did knock down Orlando Salido in the second fight, he didn't have enough pop in his punch to take him out. So it would be wise for Mikey Garcia to use the boxing ability that he does have. We'll see how his chin holds up. Orlando Salido. Orlando Salido is 32 years old. He holds a record of 39 victories, 11 losses, and 2 draws. 27 of those victories coming by way of knockout. Orlando Salido has been boxing since he was 15. He has been stopped 5 times. His last stoppage loss came in March of 2000, although it should be noted that he did start at 15, and those 5 stoppages came in between the time while he was 15 and 21 years old. So, he was learning on the job, and he hasn't been stopped in 13 years. And as of late, he showed that he has a huge chin and a whole lot of fucking heart. Orlando Salido has been in there with a lot of big names. He's fought Juan Manuel Marquez, who he lost a decision to. He fought Yuriorkis Gamboa, also losing a decision. He fought Robert Guerrero. He initially beat Robert Guerrero by decision, but it was later found out that Orlando Salido tested positive for steroids in that fight, and we'll get into that right now. And, of course, he fought Juanma Lopez twice, beating him twice in 2 huge epic fights that will go down in the Mexican versus Puerto Rican boxing history. The knock that I have on Orlando Salido is, of course, the steroids. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you already know my stance on steroids and cheaters in this sport. I don't fucking like them. I don't like cheaters. And, just because this dude is Mexican and I'm Mexican doesn't mean that, I'm going to be making excuses for this dude. When Margarito cheated, I called his motherfucking ass out. You know what I'm saying? So, when anybody cheats, whether it's Lamont Cheaterson, whether it's Plasterito, whether it's, Juicehead Andre Berto, or, Orlando Salido, they're going to get called out. And Orlando Salido has a great style. And the Robert Guerrero fight, especially because of what Robert Guerrero has been doing lately, that would have been a very good name on his resume had he not taken no motherfucking steroids. Because with the Juanma Lopez fight, he's proven that, he can have victories without that shit in him. But, that's something that will never go away. As long as people remember Orlando Salido, that will, that asterisk will always be in his career. And speaking of Robert Guerrero, it's understandable. Robert Guerrero's father. If you don't know who Robert Guerrero's father is, peep him out on Ellie Setback's channel. Look up the Andre Berto versus Robert Guerrero post fight. Robert Guerrero's dad looked like them old school cholos and shit that be riding around in like them oldie classic cars, bumping oldies and shit. I can see Robert Guerrero's dad rolling around, bumping Richie Valens and shit. Oh, Donna, hitting the switches. Oh, Donna. He, Robert Guerrero's dad looked like back in the day when I used to go to the supermarket as a kid, like Mexican supermarkets, they had like them little like bubblegum machines and shit, and they had these things called homies. They were like these little stickers of like gangsters, like little cartoon character gangsters. It looked like you might be able to pull Robert Guerrero's dad out of one of them, one of the homies. Little ghosts. And, he looked like he got bricks of cocaine in the trunk of his car. Robert Guerrero's dad looked like when he talked, he'd be like, Chale, homie. And then when I actually heard him talk in the press conference, he sounded exactly like that. They had asked Robert Guerrero after the Berto victory. They were mentioning his last loss, which was to Orlando Salido. And before Robert Guerrero could elaborate on that, his father, quickly answered, and he was like, "You talking about that steroid user? I don't even want to hear that name." And it's understandably so. He's talking about his somebody that got in the ring with his son who was cheating. He didn't have bricks in his hand, but he had bricks in his body with that steroid shit. He could have seriously injured Robert Guerrero. So it's understandable why, his father would react like that. I just find it funny, dude. It's like he's straight G'd up, you know what I'm saying? But that's the problem with Orlando Salido. This fight is 50-50. Anybody can take this fight. Especially because we really don't know what Mikey Garcia is made of yet. But I have to roll with Mikey Garcia because of the steroids. Justice has to be done in boxing. And, you know, this sport has to be cleaned up. And although Orlando Salido has been able to somewhat, you know, redeem himself with the Juanma Lopez, again, you know, that positive steroid test, you know, that shit is always going to be part of his legacy. And me personally, because I told you my stance on that shit, I gotta roll with Mikey Garcia. I hope Mikey Garcia wins. Let's see if he's a real deal. But if you're looking at it in reality, this is a toss-up fight. Anybody can win. While I'm rooting for Mikey Garcia, I would not be surprised if Orlando Salido wins, because although he's fucking cheated, just like Andre Berto, those two dudes are tough motherfuckers. They got a lot of heart. So, you know, we'll see what happens. My prediction is Mikey Garcia. I believe if there is a knockout, he'll probably wear down Orlando Salido later in the rounds, and you know, possibly win by a stoppage, or most likely, you know, he's gonna win by decision. We'll see what happens. I want to know your opinion. Who do you see winning this fight, and why is that so? Do you agree with my shit? If you like this shit, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Happy New Year, puto. And this is your homeboy Quetzalcoatl signing the fuck on out.